speaking of free speech and cancellation, Jimmy Kimmel, the late night show comedian in the US, he's had a show for decades now, I think. He's been cancelled, apparently. At least his show has been paused indefinitely, and that's because of a monologue that he gave in which he tried to suggest that the shooter in the Charlie Kirk political assassination is part of the MAGA movement.
It was the kind of moment that stops the room cold. A live television detonation that ricochets from studio lights to social feeds in a matter of seconds. There, in front of an audience that expected late-night laughs but got an unexpected cannonball of controversy, Rob Schneider dropped the accusation that would ripple far beyond the world of comedy. Schneider didn't just call Jimmy Kimmel a liar, he called him out for allegedly deceiving the American public, charging straight at the heart of the Kimmel persona, not with jokes, but with a ferocity that made even the studio staff look around for someone to hit the panic button. This wasn't just another back and forth between celebrities playing for retweets. Schneider's takedown was live, raw, and surgical. "You lied to America," he declared, and then doubled down by accusing Kimmel, and by implication his powerful backers, of playing puppet master with the news.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
It wasn't subtle, it wasn't even remotely safe for the ratings-obsessed execs in the control room. What we witnessed wasn't a spat between rival stand-ups, it was a high-voltage collision between a Hollywood institution and a self-styled truth-teller, with enough energy to make even the most jaded industry insiders fidget. Schneider was the surprise disruptor, the unfiltered messenger with nothing to lose, who dared to say what others only text to group chat, and he made sure everyone knew this was not just about a mean-spirited joke, not just about a single misstep. According to Schneider, Kimmel wasn't just lying for laughs, he was, as Schneider painted it, part of a bigger scheme, the face of a late-night operation, allegedly weaponized to sway what Americans think, feel, and even post online. The kind of on-air clash that instantly gets clipped, reshared, and debated, but what followed was even more seismic.
Honestly, I mean, look, Jimmy Kimmel can be funny, and I don't mean to take anything away from that, but the fact of the matter, can you remember a political joke that went viral, what was something really funny of his? There was no attempt in humor at all in what he said.
The aftershocks reached all the way to the decision makers, who have run late night as a protected preserve for years. We all saw the footage spread like wildfire. Schneider, grinning with grim intent, driving his point home and calling for Kimmel's cancellation. The crowd froze, unsure whether to clap, cringe, or just check their phones. And Hollywood? For once, Hollywood insiders weren't rushing to pick sides. They were scrambling for damage control. This was the moment everyone in the business dreads, when the myth of invulnerability cracks, live and in HD. Because as Schneider's accusations gained steam, it was no longer a matter of whether Kimmel's reputation would take a hit, but whether his entire show would go up in flames.
Losing their TV show. I think the outrage over somebody losing their TV show should be dwarfed by the outrage over somebody losing their life, over a decent, God-fearing, wonderful, lovely person trying to have conversation.
Just hours later, we saw the dominoes start to fall. Stations quietly dropped Kimmel's show, afraid of being caught in the political blast radius. ABC rushed out a press release so limp it might as well have been written on a napkin. And the rumor mill started grinding at record speed. This wasn't just a feud between two comedians. This was a bombshell accusation that has shaken both Hollywood and Washington to their core. That was the message circulating among agents and showrunners who'd just gotten off the phone with their own crisis consultant. It wasn't just Kimmel's career on the line, it was the credibility of the entire late-night machine, and suddenly questions that had simmered for years were boiling over. How much of what viewers hear every night is really unfiltered comedy, and how much is coordinated messaging, carefully shepherded by invisible hands behind the scenes?
Does, such as, for example, creating disharmony in the workplace, then that freedom of speech isn't necessarily protected. And so there is different standards, there's a higher bar. However, there still is the ability to, if someone is, for example, inciting violence, that is not protected speech, even for a government worker.
Which brings us right to the next layer of this Hollywood onion, and it's starting to smell even funkier. Schneider wasn't content to aim just at Kimmel. He lobbed a grenade toward the Magic Kingdom itself, Disney. For years, Disney has been playing a delicate balancing act. Entertainment on one hand, massive regulatory and government interests on the other. So when Schneider started hinting at a quiet deal between Disney and the Biden-Harris White House, the nerves inside corporate boardrooms weren't just frayed, they were in freefall. Was this just wild speculation from an angry ex-Sneller? Or was he giving voice to the kind of rumors that have dogged late-night TV for years? The suggestion was unmistakable. Disney, one of the most powerful entertainment machines on Earth, might be shielding Kimmel, not because of loyalty or ratings, but because the political stakes are just too high to risk a scandal. Could Kimmel's pointed monologues and relentless takes on the news really be the product of backroom political strategy? And is Disney's silent defense of their star host really about protecting creative freedom, or about making sure their billion-dollar empire stays on the right side of government regulators? We know that Disney has more than just late-night TV at risk. They've got mega deals hanging by a thread, trying to secure a 10% slice of ESPN for the NFL, haggling over majority control of Fubo to fold into Hulu's live TV play, and tiptoeing through a regulatory minefield that could explode if the wrong soundbite lands at the wrong time. Nobody wants to be on the wrong side of a federal investigation. And the prospect of a late-night scandal mixing with billion-dollar negotiations, that's a recipe for executive-level insomnia.
Conservative activists, Republican lawmakers, and even a doxing website are flagging the comments in what critics say is a campaign to punish those posters.
Of course, Kimmel's defenders jumped in fast. We watched as Jon Stewart, true to form, used the Daily Show desk to lob a sarcastic lifeline in Kimmel's direction, while Jimmy Fallon gave a straight-faced, I don't know what's going on, but Jimmy's a good guy speech, though even that was wrapped in the kind of forced cheer that only late-night veterans can deliver under duress. But the undertow was obvious. The networks were rattled, the advertisers were whispering about exit clauses, and Disney's legal team was spotted in back-to-back meetings. Meanwhile, Kimmel himself was seen heading into a high-powered attorney's office in Century City. Not exactly the move of a man who expects a quick and painless comeback. Yet all this would almost be typical tabloid fare. A host steps in controversy, a network weighs their options, and the world moves on. But Schneider's accusations gave oxygen to something Hollywood had tried desperately to keep buried: the whispers about Kimmel's ties to Washington. For years, rumors have swirled about covert political money flowing into late night, with Kimmel's name surfacing more than most. Now, thanks to Schneider's explosive commentary, these claims are no longer just late-night gossip. They're headline material. The timing could not be worse. Insiders have started to talk, pointing out the sudden bumps in Kimmel's show budget, the mysterious list of consultants with no clear job description, and the alleged connections to political operatives with deep pockets and deeper agendas.
The fallout from Charlie Kirk's has spread to the workplace. People are getting fired for comments that seem to celebrate or glorify the assassination of the MAGA activist and father of 2 young children.
What if, after all these years, Kimmel's political jabs and snarky monologues haven't been just his idea of fun, but rather carefully orchestrated performances financed by figures with everything to lose? We all know what happens when one domino falls in this town. Suddenly, everyone's checking their bank statements and deleting old emails. It's no longer just Kimmel's reputation at risk. If the rumors hold even a whiff of truth, the stakes jump to industry-wide credibility. The public, already raw from political assassinations and media distrust, is watching with popcorn in hand, waiting to see who cracks first and who talk. But wait, there's more. Because just as the media was bracing for another late-night cancellation, the whispers began to circulate about Disney's silent complicity. Bob Iger doesn't want to be at war with the Trump White House, especially with regulatory eyes glued to every move. Disney can't afford to alienate MAGA viewers or their own progressive workforce, not when the future of live sports, streaming, and their sprawling business model all hinge on who signs off in DC. And that's the perfect storm, a scandal that links a late-night host, a corporate behemoth, and the highest levels of government in a shadowy waltz that nobody wants exposed to daylight. Is Disney really calling the shots behind closed doors, protecting Kimmel in order to keep their own deals alive? That's the question now being asked in meetings that are anything but funny.
Harvey, you have to make this good. I'm one that actually watched some of the stuff that you've done over the years, and it's actually good.
I agree.
For you to defend and lie about what they reacted to, you lost so much credibility with me. So much credibility with me for you to behave that way.
As the dust settles, for now, even Kimmel's closest allies have started to hedge their bets. Executives at ABC are suddenly silent. Disney Entertainment's co-chair is said to be privately fuming about being dragged into a political firefight. Sources are leaking just enough to make sure their fingerprints don't end up on the next big expose. Meanwhile, the rumors about Kimmel's supposed political payoffs have taken on a life of their own, with rival hosts and network competitors gleefully stoking the flames. We're watching in real time as the line between just jokes and political warfare collapses, and the supposed guardians of late night are forced to explain what exactly they've been guarding. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse for Kimmel, the scandal takes an even darker turn. The battle lines are drawn in the heart of the Magic Kingdom, and Disney is now staring down a storm they can't spin away with princesses or Pixar sequels. As the Kimmel controversy snowballs, conservatives are circling, accusing Disney of being not just an entertainment giant, but a silent partner in a national censorship machine. Disney's silence is becoming part of the scandal, a longtime DC media strategist told us. If anyone thought the outrage would fade away if Disney just waited it out, they're clearly not watching the same social feeds we are. Each day, the company says nothing, another round of boycott hashtags and conspiracy threads spring up, hammering the idea that Disney is sheltering Kimmel to preserve its access, its government deals, and some allege its seat at the table in the culture wars.
I think he should do it because I think there's an irony here. My take on this, there's an irony. Harvey has made his career on busting celebrities that lie when they're arrested, and then this video, that video, this person, that person, and then they bust them. They go, no. Here's what really happened.
That's right.
And now Harvey's in the middle of it, right there, busted, and sitting there in front of the spotlight, the same way he puts celebrities and other people in front of the spotlight.
That's not just a narrative, it's now a business risk. Insiders say the political cost is becoming hard to separate from the financial one. Disney isn't just managing a controversial host. They're managing a perception that the company is now an active player in the ideological conflict tearing the country apart. In the era of Kimmelgate, every CEO's worst fear is becoming reality. Disney, a brand built on wholesome escapism, is being painted as a ringleader in a censorship circus. If you're a company with federal deals in the works and stadiums to fill, that's a nightmare. That doesn't go away when the cameras turn off. But what really twists the knife is that Schneider's accusations have gone viral, not just because they're dramatic, but because so many Americans on all sides have started to believe them.
Have the balls to just tell the truth. You know what, guys? We're freaking leftists. We're progressive. You know what? Charlie is a voice that says stuff that we don't like. We are happy that he was shot in the freaking neck in front of his family.
I don't know if it's the entire organization. Let me tell you.
No, I'm saying what this guy's saying. It's filled with hateful, angry progressives.
And I believe that.
Yes.
That I believe.
This is the guy, Pat.
No, I believe that exists.
Yes.
We're now watching a high-stakes chess match, with Disney trapped between the old-school conservative base that fueled the company's growth for decades and the younger, more progressive audience that's now demanding accountability, transparency, and a cleaner break from political theater. For Disney's top brass, every move is a gamble. Fool Kimmel and risk being branded as caving to MAGA, America. Keep him and risk an all-out revolt from red state affiliates, advertisers, and a vocal part of the public that now sees Mickey Mouse as a speech cop in a tuxedo. The pressure is so intense that even Disney's most loyal defenders in the media have started to question whether the company has any good options left. If that sounds like hyperbole, look at the fallout already piling up. When Nexstar yanked Kimmel's show, they did it while chasing a multi-billion-dollar TV takeover that needs federal sign-off. Sinclair is reviewing its entire empire, knowing full well that anything smelling like political bias could cost them billions. Disney, meanwhile, is being forced to freeze high-profile deals as long as the Kimmel drama clouds the sky. Forget fairy tales, this is the kind of suspense that gives board members ulcers.
So they're watching the car chase.
So, yeah.
The announcer announces Charlie Kirk, and it seems like in all likelihood, that's when they cheer.
You tell me
There's
what
nothing excitable
while
going
that
on there.
second the car
This
chase.
isn't O.J. Simpson and the White Bronco.
Exactly.
Pat, I'm sorry. First of all, disgusting of who they are. What TMZ like.
Meanwhile, the Kimmel controversy has put late-night TV under the brightest, least forgiving spotlight it's faced since the days of the fairness doctrine. Gone are the days of Johnny Carson's wry, apolitical quips and gentle ribbing. Today, we're knee-deep in a new era where late-night hosts are less court jesters and more political hitmen. The shift didn't happen overnight, but Kimmel has become the face of a genre that's morphed from harmless escapism into a pressure cooker of outrage, dog whistles, and targeted barbs. Where Carson could share the stage with both presidents and punchlines, Kimmel's world is a battlefield, and every punchline feels like a grenade. Has late-night TV gone too far? That's the question echoing everywhere, from talk radio to text chains among exhausted producers. What started as a gig for comedians who could bridge divides has turned into a partisan blood sport. We've watched as audiences become factions, as advertisers tiptoe between landmines, and as once untouchable hosts are suddenly forced to lawyer up before they log onto social media. And as the political temperature spikes, nobody wants to be the last man standing without a legal defense fund.
Okay, so he's not lying. They are watching a car chase, and they are reacting to a car chase because the announcer on the car chase said that Charlie Kirk is... Thank you. So Harvey is essentially, in his mind, well, we're not lying.
We can't ignore what's at stake. If Kimmel, of all people, can be torpedoed this quickly, what does that say about the future of the entire genre? Industry veterans are quietly confessing that the mood in writers' rooms is one of outright panic. The old rules, keep it light, don't get personal, always land on a laugh, are out the window. Now it's about not being the next trending topic for all the wrong reasons. The sense that anyone can be canceled, no matter how high their ratings or how thick their contracts, has put a chill over an industry that once prided itself on irreverence. But let's get even more direct. Kimmel's legal scramble has kicked off a fresh round of speculation about what he, and maybe others, are really worried about. It's not just about protecting a reputation. It's about who else might be dragged into the spotlight if the details start leaking. Those meetings with Century City's legal eagles aren't about making a gracious exit. They're about damage control at a level that suggests there's more to this story than anyone at Disney or ABC wants to admit. What would happen if subpoenas start flying and the real list of late night's power brokers and their political handlers comes out? Could this be the first domino in a scandal that ripples out to other hosts, rival networks, and maybe even the ad agencies that bankroll the whole circuit?
This is Harvey, who runs TMZ. It's a place known, I've been inside that place. It's a place that's known for having cameras everywhere. That's what you're known for. You're talking live all the time, right? Yeah. That's what TMZ is known for. You have cameras everywhere. That's your business model. That's how you blew up.
I was with you in every corner of every room. They capture every reaction.
That you remember.
Behind closed doors, sources whisper that Disney's legal department is preparing for all possible outcomes. The nuclear option, sacrificing Kimmel for the good of the company, remains on the table. But there's a growing sense that whatever happens next could have consequences for the way all of Hollywood operates. If a single comedian can put an entire conglomerate on the defensive, what does that mean for a town that's always thrived on controlling the message and spinning the narrative? Maybe that's why so many execs are spending less time at lunch meetings and more time reviewing their own emails, just in case their names come up in the next leak. All the while, Rob Schneider has somehow transformed from punchline to ringleader, rallying supporters who see him as a truth teller in an industry full of sellouts and cowards. Whether Schneider's claims are a beacon or a bonfire, one thing is clear: he's not backing down, and he's not letting Disney or Kimmel slip quietly back into the old routine. The battle lines aren't just on Twitter now, they're in the boardrooms, the writers' rooms, and the audience's living room. The days when late-night hosts could poke fun at everyone and then disappear into a haze of harmless nostalgia are over. Now every joke is a potential headline, every monologue a possible legal brief, and every silence from Disney or anyone else a story in itself.
Yesterday this was taking place, okay? TMZ comes out, and everybody around the world finds out when the phone alert Charlie Kirk, right? Your phone is blowing up. No matter where you are, your phone is blowing up with text messages saying Charlie Kirk.
What started as a public humiliation for Jimmy Kimmel has grown into an existential crisis for the entire world of late-night entertainment. With Disney caught in the crossfire, the stakes have never been higher. As Kimmel lawyering up sparks rumors about even deeper secrets, well, let's just say nobody in Hollywood is sleeping easy right now. This isn't just about one man's career, it's about the future of comedy, the fate of media, and the line between truth and propaganda in a world where the crowd can turn on you overnight. So here's the question. If the real secrets hiding in late night are about to come out, who's really pulling the strings? And who will pay the price when the next scandal breaks? Leave your take in the comments and don't blink, because in this town, the next shock is always one punchline away. Until then, stay sharp and keep questioning, because you never know which laugh will be the last.